Husband dumped his disabled wife. After she lost her job, unaware of her $100 million inheritance. Unaware of wife's $100 million inheritance, he dumped her after she became paralyzed and lost her job. She had given him everything, her time, her love, her strength. But when tragedy struck and a terrible accident left her paralyzed, his vows of forever turned to dust. The moment she lost her job, the man she trusted to be her rock became her executioner. "You're nothing but a burden now," he hissed as he shoved the divorce papers into her trembling hands. "I won't waste my life carrying dead weight. You can rot alone." Instead of choosing compassion, he chose cruelty. Instead of standing by her side, he walked away with another woman. At her weakest hour, he stripped her of dignity and love, leaving her to survive in silence. He thought her story was over. But what he didn't know was that the woman he cast aside, the one he called worthless, carried a secret. An inheritance worth $100 million. A fortune that would not only rebuild her shattered world, but also return her power in a way no betrayal could ever destroy. Sometimes the people you discard when they fall are the very ones destined to rise higher than you can ever imagine. Sometimes the shadow of the broken becomes the light you can never outrun. This is the story of betrayal, pain, and ultimate revenge. A story where love is tested, cruelty is exposed, and justice finds its voice. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button, and as you listen, tell us in the comments where you're watching from. The room was dim, but her eyes sparkled with pride as she watched him pace with his new business idea scribbled across a notepad. Claire had worked a 12-hour shift at the bank that day, but she still sat on the couch, nodding at every word her husband, Daniel, said. "I just need one more investor," Daniel insisted, waving his hands. "If this works, we'll never have to live paycheck to paycheck again. We'll be unstoppable." Claire smiled, though her body ached with exhaustion. "You'll get there, love. You always do. I'll cover the bills until things turn around." On the outside, it looked like devotion. A perfect wife cheering on her husband's dreams. Neighbors admired their bond. Colleagues envied Claire's supportive marriage. But behind the curtains, the truth was different. For every long day, Claire worked to pay rent. Daniel spent hours in cafes with friends, talking big but producing little. She never complained. She cooked his meals, folded his laundry, and slipped him cash when he came home empty-handed. At night, when her legs trembled from fatigue, she told herself this was love, that someday he would see her sacrifice and repay it with equal devotion. But the imbalance grew heavier. Daniel began expecting her support, not appreciating it. "Don't nag me about money," he snapped one evening when she reminded him of overdue bills. "You think you're better because you have a job. Just wait. My time is coming." The words stung, but Claire swallowed the pain. She whispered to herself that he was only stressed, that real love meant patience. Her mother's worried voice on the phone echoed in her head. "Claire, a marriage where one builds and the other only takes will break you." She ignored it, convincing herself that she and Daniel were different. Yet deep inside, small cracks began to form. Every dismissal chipped at her heart. Every careless remark pressed weight onto her spirit. She smiled less, laughed less, carried more. To outsiders, Claire was the picture of devotion, but in her quiet moments, she felt the slow erosion of her worth. One night, after paying the last of their savings toward his failed pitch, Claire crawled into bed. She reached for Daniel's hand, seeking comfort. He pulled away. "Don't touch me. I'm thinking." The rejection hit harder than his words. In the silence of that dark room, Claire realized the truth she had been avoiding. Her love was being drained like water poured into cracked earth. No matter how much she gave, it would never be enough. Her heart trembled, but she still held on. Little did she know this imbalance was only the beginning. The storm that would break her world was already gathering, closer than she imagined. It was raining the night everything changed. Claire had stayed late at work, finishing reports her exhausted eyes could barely focus on. The streets were slick, the headlights blurred, and as she crossed the road to catch her bus, a horn blared, tires screeched, the world spun. A delivery truck hit her. The impact was violent, her body thrown against cold pavement, breath ripped from her lungs, pain shot like lightning through her spine, her legs refusing to move. Sirens screamed in the distance as strangers gathered, their voices muffled by the storm. "Stay with us," a man shouted, pressing his jacket under her head. But Claire's vision darkened, her body shaking from fear. At the hospital, bright lights pierced her eyes as doctors worked frantically. Hours blurred into minutes until at last, the words she dreaded filled the room. "The accident has damaged her spinal cord. She may never walk again." Daniel stood in the corner, his face pale. For a moment, Claire thought he would break down and hold her hand, but instead his jaw tightened. "So she's paralyzed?" His tone was flat, more shock than sorrow. "Yes," the doctor said gently. "She will need intensive care, rehabilitation, and a strong support system." Claire's heart raced. A strong support system. That meant Daniel, the man she had carried all these years, would now have to carry her. At first, he tried to play the role. He told the nurses, "I'll take care of her." But Claire noticed the cracks immediately. The way he sighed when lifting her into a wheelchair, the sharpness in his voice when she needed help in the middle of the night. One evening, she asked softly, "Will you still love me like this?" Her voice trembled with fear. Daniel didn't answer. He stared at the TV, pretending not to hear. Fear settled heavy in her chest. Her mother called daily, her voice full of worry. "Claire, I'll come stay with you. You don't need to carry this alone." But Claire, still clinging to the hope of her husband's devotion, said no. She was vulnerable, trapped in a body that no longer obeyed her, relying on a man who once relied only on her. Every request for help felt like another test, and every sigh from Daniel revealed the truth. His loyalty was fragile. One night, as she struggled to shift in bed,